The twin suns of Vessara IX pressed long, molten shadows across the battered landscape, painting the ruins of the outpost in scorched gold. Even now, after months of siege, smoke still curled lazily from the cracked metallic ground. The air tasted of char and old lightning, remnants of orbital bombardments that never quite ended. Talira Severin pulled her respirator down just enough to wipe the sweat from her cheek ridges. Her lavender skin was streaked with dust, her pale eyes sharp as she scanned the horizon. Faint tremors rattled under her boots, another artillery pulse far beyond the ridge. "Commander Severin," croaked the comlink. "Scouts report movement near Sector Delta 4. Could be a salvage team. Could be them." The Draxkull Dominion, a species known for raising entire systems for fuel, resources, and dominance. They had swept through the outer colonies with brutal precision. Vessara IX was only one more line of defense that had nearly snapped. Talira keyed the comm, "Stay in position. I'll investigate." "Commander, you shouldn't go alone." "Orders." Silence acknowledged her authority, though hesitation clung to the line. Talira crouched and reached into the dust, retrieving the battered metal insignia that lay half-buried there. It was triangular, cracked, and marked with a symbol she hadn't seen in years, the crest of the Terran Vanguard. Her pulse stuttered. Humans hadn't been seen in her domain, anywhere in the Outer Crescent, for nearly a decade. The last time she had seen one, she closed her eyes. The memory still stung like electrified shrapnel. A younger Talira, pinned beneath collapsed rubble during the siege of Oranis. Her leg shattered, her squad dead, the Dominion closing in. And then, a figure in heavy armor, visor cracked, bleeding but unstoppable, had torn through her assailants like a living storm. He'd lifted the debris trapping her as if it weighed nothing. "You're safe," he had told her. "Humans don't leave allies behind." She had never learned his name. She had never seen him again. The Dominion had destroyed the Terran Vanguard soon after, or so everyone believed. Humanity scattered or fled. Some said they'd been wiped out entirely. So, why was the insignia here? The wind carried a faint vibration, footsteps, just beyond the rocks. Talira tightened her grip on her plasma knife and slid into the shadows. She wasn't afraid. She was angry. Whoever had come to Vessara IX, friend or foe, they would answer her today. The soldier appears. The footsteps grew closer. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Talira kept low behind a twisted support beam, watching. Then she saw him. A tall soldier in full-body exo-armor stepped out of the dust storm. The plating was matte black with silver trim, scratched and dented from what looked like dozens of battles. But the shape, bipedal, broad-shouldered, sturdy, it was unmistakably human. Her breath caught. Humans used to stand differently, like gravity itself respected them more than others. This one had that same stance. He carried a large shock lance strapped to his back and a sleek rifle in his hands. No Dominion technology looked anything like it. He walked with purpose but with caution, scanning the perimeter. His helmet was smooth, seamless, reflective. No emblems. Except, on his left pauldron, half-burned but still readable, Vanguard 07. Her chest tightened. He was from the original Terran Vanguard, which was impossible, but there he was. Alive. Talira stepped out, blade ready. "You. Human. Identify yourself." The armored head snapped toward her. Instantly, the rifle lifted, not aimed to fire, but to assess. He didn't shoot. Instead, his voice came through a deep modulated filter. "Drop your weapon." Her eyes narrowed. "Not a chance." "You're Severin," the soldier said calmly. "Commander of the Vesseran Frontier Guard. Designation Blue 21. Her throat went dry. How do you know that? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he lowered his rifle, just slightly. You're hurt, he noted. She glanced down and saw a shallow cut across her hip leaking faint, purple blood. She hadn't noticed. I'm fine, she snapped. He took one step toward her. She took one back. Then he said something that froze her blood. I won't let them take you again. Her heart hammered faster. Take her again? Only one person had ever said something like,
No, it couldn't be.
That's impossible, she whispered. The human soldier reached for his helmet. Don't, she warned. Show your face and you lose tactical advantage. He paused. And then, very slowly, deliberately, he removed the helmet. Dust swirled around him as the locks released. The helmet lifted away, and Talira's entire world tilted. The face beneath the helm was rugged, scarred, unmistakably human, with the same sharp jawline, same storm gray eyes, same stubborn crease between the brows. It was him, the human who had saved her life all those years ago. She stumbled back. But you died. I watched them bomb your evac ship. It exploded. No humans survived that assault. He looked at her with quiet, bone-deep weariness. I survived. His voice was softer now, no modulation. Human. Real. Familiar. Talira, he said, and her name sounded different in his mouth. Warmer. I told you I'd come back. Her knife slipped from her hand. The man she thought had died in fire and collapsed now stood before her, alive. What is your name? She breathed. He hesitated only a beat. Captain Elias Ward. Terran Vanguard's Special Recon. Her lips trembled. She had never known it, but she remembered his voice, his kindness, his stubborn refusal to leave her to die. Elias, she whispered. Yeah. He managed a faint smile. It's been a while. She wanted to step forward. Instead, she whispered, Why are you here?
The mighty to return.
Elias Ward exhaled slowly, turning his gaze toward the horizon where Dominion supercarriers carved dark purple scars through the clouds.
Same reason as last time, he said.
To keep you alive. Talira bristled. I don't need. He pointed behind her. A Dominion crawler, massive, armored, bristling with plasma turrets, crested the ridge. Talira froze. Elias didn't. He lunged, grabbing her arm. Move! They dove behind a shattered wall as a bolt of searing energy blasted the ground where she had stood. Talira rolled to her knees. Why is a crawler here? Dominion patrols don't approach this sector. They do today, Elias said grimly. The crawler rumbled forward, like a mechanical beast forged from hatred itself. Turrets rotated. Plasma whined. Talira shouted, If we cut across the pipeline, we can. But Elias was already sprinting toward the crawler. Elias, what are you doing? What humans do best, he yelled back. Being a distraction. The human charge. The soldier slammed a device into the ground, a concussive emitter that thundered outward in a shockwave, knocking the crawler off balance. Talira gaped. The technology was advanced, far beyond anything the Vanguard had possessed years ago. Elias sprinted up the crawler's side as if gravity obeyed him out of respect. Magnetic boots clamped him securely as he dodged turret fire, slid across armor plating, and slapped charges against weak points in the hull. She had seen human warriors before, but never like him. He moved like an apex predator, wearing a machine as a skin. Turrets whirred, too slow. The charges detonated in a chain of bright fire. The crawler collapsed in a hiss of steam and molten metal. Elias leapt off the wreckage, landing heatlessly beside her. Talira tried to stay composed. She failed. You're insane, she breathed. Probably, he admitted, brushing dust from his armor. But effective. A fractured truth. They retreated into the underground tunnels beneath the outpost. The walls flickered with dying power conduits, the air thick with the metallic scent of long-abandoned machinery. Talira finally turned to face him fully. Her voice was softer now, but edged with heartbreak and fury. "Why didn't you contact me? Why vanish for 10 cycles? We all thought humanity was extinct." Elias leaned against a support beam, exhaling hard. "It's complicated." "Uncomplicate," she snapped. He rubbed a gloved hand across his face. After Irani's fell, the vanguard splintered. Many were captured. Others made choices. His eyes hardened. Humanity wasn't wiped out. We went underground, off-grid, silent. Why? Because the Dominion wanted something we had. Something dangerous. What? He hesitated, jaw tightening. The resonance genome. Talira's blood chilled. "That's a myth." "No," Elias shook his head. "It's real. And they think I know where it is." She stared. "Do you?" He didn't answer, which told her everything. Her world reeled. "Elias," she whispered, "why come back now? After all this time?" He met her eyes, old pain carved into every line of his face. "Because the Dominion is hunting you," he said. "Because you're the last of the Severn bloodline. And because..." He looked away, voice rough. "Because I promised you." Talira's breath caught. "You remember that?" she whispered. "I never forgot." And for a moment, just a moment, the war, the years, the distance between their species, all of it felt thin enough to pierce with a touch. Then the ground trembled. The lights flickered. Elias swore. "They're breaching the outer defenses. We need to move." The chase. The tunnels erupted into chaos as Dominion hunters poured through the breach, towering reptilian humanoids with segmented armor and electrified gauntlets. Talira and Elias sprinted deeper underground, weaving through collapsed corridors. "Left," she shouted. Elias grabbed her wrist and yanked her right instead. A plasma bolt incinerated the path she'd meant to take. He glanced back. "Trust me." She gritted her teeth. "You vanished for 10 years, and I'm still saving your reckless ass." Their footsteps echoed wildly as hunters roared behind them. They burst through a maintenance hatch and into a vast subterranean hangar, long abandoned, filled with broken vehicles and flickering hollow displays. At the center of the hangar stood a battered dropship, old, rusted, but intact. Talira's eyes widened. "That's a Vesseran scout ship. You can't fly that." He smirked. "Talira, I can fly anything." Laser fire rained down as hunters entered the hangar behind them. Elias shoved her toward the ship. "Get in." She scrambled inside as he unleashed a volley of suppressive fire. The ship's engines coughed awake. Panels sparked. Systems screamed warnings. But the engine core hummed to life. Elias dove in just as the ramp lifted, sealing shut. The dropship blasted upward, bursting through layers of concrete and dirt, and into open sky. Plasma chased them. Hunters roared on the comms. The Dominion fleet above began turning its guns toward them. Talira gripped the seat. "We'll never outrun them." Elias grinned, a reckless, human grin she remembered all too well. Who said anything about outrunning? He slammed the throttle forward. The dropship spiraled toward the clouds, straight toward the Dominion carrier. "Elias, are you mad?" Statistically, probably. The carrier's cannons thundered. Talira screamed. Elias hooped. The dropship cut hard left at the last second, skimming so close to the carrier's hull that sparks danced along the wings. The pursuing hunters weren't so lucky. Several slammed into the carrier, exploding in bursts of flame and metal. Talira gasped. "You're insane."
He winked.
"Humans adapt. The secret safe house." They eventually lost the hunters through the dense cloud canyons of Vessara's upper atmosphere and landed amid the spires of an abandoned floating citadel, one of hundreds left behind by the vanished Elyndran, an ancient species. Elias powered down the ship. Silence washed around them. Talira exhaled shakily and turned to him. "Tell me everything," she said. He nodded. And then he told her the truth about humanity. The Terran vanguard hadn't been destroyed. Not completely. In the final hours of the war, Earth had deployed a classified evacuation protocol known as Project Echo, a scattering of its remaining forces across the outer sectors, hidden in deep space vaults and stasis cradles. Elias had been part of Recon Division, tasked with retrieving artifacts of technological significance before the Dominion could seize them. One such artifact was the resonance genome, a bio-coded matrix capable of altering neural waveforms on a planetary scale. In the wrong hands, it could wipe out entire species without firing a single shot. "Humanity went dark to protect it," Elias said. "We became ghosts." "Ghosts don't bleed," Talira said bitterly. "You disappeared." He swallowed. "I didn't want to drag you into this." "You already did," she whispered. 10 years ago." He looked at her, tired, regretful, fiercely determined. "I'm here now. You're in danger. So are you." She shook her head. "I'm not the one being hunted by the Dominion." "No," he said softly. "But you're the one I crossed half a galaxy to protect." Her breath hitched. Before she could reply, a proximity alarm blared. Elias's eyes snapped to the holomap. Dominion signatures. Dozens. "They tracked us," Talira said, stunned. "But how?" Elias cursed. "I know how. They weren't after the genome." He turned toward her, anguish raw in his expression. "They were after you."
"What?"
"Why?" "Because you're the only one in the outer crescent who can activate the Elyndran beacon hidden here. They want to use it to amplify their neural override network. If they control that, they control billions," she finished in horror. Elias nodded. "We can't let them reach the beacon." Talira steadied herself. "Then let's move." He touched her arm. "Talira." She looked at him. "If anything happens, don't." "I'm serious." "So am I." Her voice trembled. "You left once. Don't you dare do it again." His jaw clenched. "I won't. The final stand begins." They left the dropship and moved into the ancient citadel. Crystalline architecture shimmered under faint starlight. Floating platforms glided silently between towers of quartz and metal. But the beauty didn't matter. Dominion hunters were already breaching the lower levels. Elias chambered a fresh mag. "We hold the line at the beacon chamber." Talira nodded. "And we destroy it before they take it." Together, they ran. For the first time in 10 years, they fought side by side again, like old instincts rekindled. Elias fired precise bursts, dropping hunters with ruthless efficiency. Talira spun and sliced through armor with her plasma sphere, moves fluid as water. She had become stronger.
Faster. Deadlier.
He noticed. She noticed him noticing. They reached the beacon chamber, a cavernous atrium of swirling energy conduits and suspended platforms. At the center hovered the beacon, a crystalline structure humming with ancient power. Talira moved toward it, but the Dominion arrived first. A colossal figure stepped through the breach, towering, armored in obsidian alloy, eyes burning like molten coals. Warlord Krozek, the butcher of Oranis, the conqueror of 3 systems, the monster who had once sworn to capture Talira alive. She froze. Elias stepped protectively in front of her. Krozek hissed, "Human. You survived longer than expected." Elias smirked. "I get that a lot." Krozek's gaze slid toward Talira. "The beacon will be mine, Severin. You will activate it, or your death will cripple your people forever." Talira lifted her spear. "Come take me." The warlord snarled, and battle erupted. Yandanji, the battle for the beacon. Hunters surged forward. Elias intercepted them with precise, brutal strikes, rifle in one hand, shock lance in the other. Sparks flared as he clashed with armored claws. Talira darted past him, engaging elite guards with blazing arcs of plasma. She fought with elegance and fury, each movement a reminder of how she had survived the decade he was gone. But Krozek was unstoppable. He advanced toward the beacon, shrugging off hits that would fell lesser beings. Elias shouted, "Talira, stop him." She sprinted to intercept, but the warlord backhanded her with bone-crushing force. She crashed into a pillar, gasping for breath. "Talira!" Elias roared, charging forward. Krozek swung a massive energy blade, grazing Elias's armor and sending him skidding across the floor. The warlord loomed over him. "You humans cling to extinction like vermin." Elias spat blood. "But we don't die easy." He triggered a pulse mine point-blank. Krozek staggered, roaring. Talira seized the opening, launching her spear into the warlord's chest. The blade sank deep, glowing with overcharged plasma. Krozek shrieked. His armor cracked. Elias grabbed Talira's hand. Together, they pushed, and the spear detonated. The explosion hurled them backward. Krozek collapsed in a heap of molten metal and charred flesh. Silence fell. Talira's ears rang. "Elias, are you?" He staggered to her, breathing hard. "Still here." But the beacon pulsed faster now, destabilized. Cracks rippled across its surface. "Oh no," Talira breathed. "Elias, it's overloading. If it detonates, it'll vaporize half the planet." Elias sprinted to a console. "We need to manually collapse the conduit. It'll kill whoever does it." He didn't answer. Talira grabbed his arm. "No, don't you dare." He met her eyes, and she saw it, the same expression he'd worn the day he saved her on Aranis. A decision already made. "Talira," he whispered, "I came back for you. But if I don't do this, none of this will matter." Tears burned her throat. "Elias, please. We just found each other again." He touched her cheek. His hand was warm, human, steady. "Talira, this time I'm not leaving." And then he pressed his forehead to hers, a human gesture given new meaning across species. "I need you to trust me." Her voice broke. "I do." He smiled. "Then let me save you. One last time." He turned, but Talira seized his hand. "No," she whispered. "Not this time." She stepped forward. He blinked. "Talira?" "We do this together," she said fiercely. "Or not at all." He hesitated, and then he nodded. "Together." The collapse. They stood side by side at the control nexus. Elias placed his hand over the failsafe conduit. Talira placed hers over the energy modulator. Their fingers touched. "Ready," he whispered. She nodded. "Now." They activated the collapse sequence. The beacon screamed with shattering light, channels imploding inward as energy spiraled violently through the chamber. Talira squeezed her eyes shut. Heat engulfed them. Gravity warped. The floor vanished. And then, silence. The aftermath. Talira awoke amid dust and faint sunlight. The citadel was cracked, the beacon gone, fully collapsed. She sat up, heart racing. "Elias." A groan sounded nearby. He lay on his back, armor scorched but intact. Talira scrambled to him. Elias, Elias, look at me. He blinked groggily. You're loud. She choked on a laugh and sob. You idiot, she whispered, pressing her forehead to his. You absolute, reckless idiot. You're welcome, he muttered. She pulled back, tears streaking her cheeks. We survived. He smiled weakly. I told you I wasn't leaving again. She helped him sit up. Around them, the Dominion forces had fled. Without Krozek, without the beacon's power, they had lost their advantage. Orbiting ships were already retreating. Vessara IX was safe.
For now.
Elias looked around. So, what now? Talira wiped her face and stood. Now, she said firmly, extending her hand to him. You don't disappear. Not for a day. Not for a decade. You stay. He took her hand, letting her pull him to his feet. That a command, Commander Severin? He teased softly. Yes, she said. Then added, voice gentler. And a request. Elias held her gaze. I think, he murmured, I can follow that order. They stood together amid the ruins of an ancient world, two survivors bound by war, fate, and a promise 10 years in the making. Above them, dawn broke across the sky. And for the first time in a decade, it felt like a beginning.